Uncle Albert?
Most of my life, aye.
Why?
Because I enjoy it. Mind you, it hasn't always been this one.
I suppose it saves you a bit of money as well.
Aye, I suppose it does. Mind there's more to it than that. Where do you think you're going to get your homegrown produce from these days?
From the corner shop?
Where do you think they're going to get it from? Oh, no, it does you good, does gardening. Makes you feel young. Hey, have another sandwich.
Oh, what's in it?
Spam and tomato like the rest.
No, I don't think I will, thanks. It's a bit too soon after breakfast for me.
Have you thought what you're going to do when you leave school?
Depends, really.
Depends on what?
My exams.
When do you expect the results?
Any day.
So you have been doing a bit of study, have you?
Quite a bit.
Sorry, Ken. Buried under this lot. Won't keep you a minute.
That's all right. There's no rush.
Nothing better to do, eh, Kenneth?
You might not, huh? Hey, who actually reads these things?
You'd be surprised.
My art, you're captive. Sounds very promising, that.
We've got some new westerns in. One or two might suit your Peter.
Oh, I hope Peter's literary taste is a bit above westerns.
Do you know, I've read very few books all the way through. I mean, I've started lots, but then after a couple of pages, I like to see how they end. Well, there doesn't seem much point after that, you know.
Well, you don't know what you've missed, Eddie.
Ah, but that's where you're wrong, I do. I have missed an education. That's where your Peter's lucky. If I'd have had a dad like you, it might have been a whole different story.
Like you wouldn't spend half your time hanging round this shop, right? What do you want, Eddie?
Well, I wouldn't mind a bacon butty with
Try
rations.
next door. We sell records, as you well know.
I've tried next door.
And?
That Dawson fella booted me out.
For lowering the tone of the place, I suppose.
Rubbish! I had an argument about his prices. I told him. I said, just because you're not as scruffy as next door, don't think you can charge the earth.
Do you know, I'd a good mind make you a bacon butty for your cheek. But if you think I'm traipsing all the way up to Mavis's flat...
Do you know, it gets harder every day, Ken.
What does?
This skiving. Sometimes it's very hard work.
Well, perhaps you better form a Skivers Union. Demand a 35-hour week.
Hey, now, there's a thought.
Here we are. They were here somewhere.
Right, everything comes to him who waits.
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.
About the Skivers Union. How would we go on strike?
Well, with difficulty, I should imagine.
Well?
Mine's still buried. I have the 8p variety, if you remember.
Oh, you're a page 3 man, aren't you?
Wrong again. Page 24.
Come again.
The GGs.
What, on Social Security?
Hey, don't say you can't, darling.
This country is becoming obsessed with sport. I get the same feeling every night watching telly. A whole page devoted to a football manager. Yet something important happens. It's tucked away in a tiny paragraph you can barely notice. Well,
What people are interested in, isn't it?
that poor headmaster must think he's a voice crying in the wilderness.
What headmaster's that, Mrs. Walker?
Well, the one who resigned from the comprehensive school. You must have heard about it.
No, I can't think of it.
Oh, Elizabeth. It was on the news headlines all last week. You must have.
Why did he resign?
Well, it says somewhere here. Yes, here it is. In many inner-city schools today, teaching is an act of war. The classroom a battleground.
Well, it's always the same as I recall.
The fear of physical assault is never far from the man. Isn't that awful?
Well, it's up to the teachers to keep a bit of order, isn't it? I mean, when I was a little girl, they all seemed to be... You look much older somehow. I mean, these days you can't tell them from the kids.
Well, I think it's sad.
Yeah.
One school day should be a storehouse of happy memories. Mine certainly were.
Mine weren't, we're always getting into trouble.
Morning, Mrs. Walker, Betty. Sorry I'm a bit late.
Nobody missed you.
Held up in the traffic, were you?
Very funny.
What was it then? Late night?
That and a useless alarm clock.
Enjoy yourself. Last night?
So.
Not very good company, is he?
Who?
Norman Hill, the photographer.
What are you talking about?
Oh, come off it. I saw you sitting in his car, as large as life when the bus pulled up at Gallipoli Street traffic lights.
I've always said you've got very beady eyes, Betty Turpin.
By God, the lengths that you'll go to get what you're after.
And what exactly am I after?
You know very well what I know. You want your face on that magazine cover.
Betty, Norman were only giving me a lift, honest.
Yeah, and I were born yesterday.
And I'm not the only one going to lengths, as you call it. Ask 'em down at that beauty salon how much Mrs. Walker spent there yesterday. And what is good for one goose is definitely good for another goose.
Her name was Daisy Broadbent. Father used to be a corporation tram driver.
A tram driver?
Oh, we did have such things, you know. Anyhow, we didn't pay to ride on trams. We used to spend all Saturday riding up and down Daisy Hill. At least it were warm.
Well, sounds great.
You are?
Well, I can just see Jenny's face if I suggested that we skip the disco and ride up and down in a tram instead.
Well, that were all they were to do in them days. Well, no discos, you know, out like that. Kids didn't have money to chuck about.
Yeah. Here, do you think we've got enough for the tea?
Just about enough for us dinner. Come on.
OK.
And who's this Jenny, then?
What? Oh, just a girl.
How long have you been walking her out?
I don't know, about 4 weeks. But I've known her for ages. We go to the same school.
Oh, then she'll be waiting for results as well.
Yeah?
Hey, go up here.
Yeah, but what happens afterwards when the magazine's all printed and you've got what you wanted?
How do you mean, what happens? What happens to who?
Well, to Norman Hill.
I expect he will carry on as normal, taking his pictures by day and going home to his wife and kiddies by night.
Oh, married, is he?
They're all married, Elizabeth, hadn't you noticed?
Well, that makes it worse then, doesn't it?
Makes what worse?
Well, I mean, you're not only using him, but his wife and family as well.
Look, Betty, Norman gave me a lift, OK? This torrid love affair bit is straight out of your imagination.
I shouldn't worry about it if I were you.
Oh, what do you want, Doc?
A lager and lime would do nicely, please, Betty. It's going to cost raised pudding, but what the hell, I deserve it. Oh, wait, that's left me with 3p.
Oh, wait, don't go mad at it.
Oh, well, I'll have a ball. Hey, do you know what happened this morning?
No.
Come out of our house, 10:30. I think I'm safe. Who's waiting for me on the doorstep? The milkman with his book open. He says, right, that's £8.90 you owe me. I says, get away, all that for 2 pints of milk a day? Oh, I said, come on, I'm changing to Co-op. He says, you did 5 weeks ago, I've not seen you since.
Oh, Doc, it's not that bad, is it?
It is when you have to hide from milkman.
Oh, chick, have that one on me.
No, now, come on, Betty, I don't want you thinking I'm...
Look, I'm not thinking anything.
If I've got it, I'll spend it.
Oh, well, suit yourself.
Cheers, anyway.
Pint of wallop, please, darling.
There you are. He can afford to sup and he's out of work.
Only 'cause it's the third Wednesday in the month.
What significance does that have?
Well, I get me postal orders, don't I? From me Auntie Glad. I mean, it's only 50p, but it's very welcome. She's been sending it me for years. It's supposed to be to buy wool socks. She's a great believer in the wonder of wool, me Auntie Glad.
Isn't it marvellous? Not only is he on the dole, but he's got relations chucking money at him from all sides as well.
Not all sides, only me Auntie Glad.
And here's Ray and Len working every hour God made. Honestly, there's no flaming justice.
And that's another thing. I should have been a big business tycoon, only I never had the education.
You didn't need it, sunshine.
What do you mean I never needed
Come
it?
on,
It may
Eddie.
have escaped your notice, Mr. Baldwin, but this is the 20th century, and we are entitled to an hour's dinner break.
I'm not telling you can't have a break. I'm just asking you to get that autumn order out.
All right, if you want a strike on your hands, you tell Ivy and that lot, because I'm blowed if I'm going to. Lager and pie, please.
Cracking his whip, is he, kid?
Well, he's trying to, but he's picked the wrong bank.
Yeah, I'll get that. Love and a scotch for me. Now, come on, Else. What about this order?
Look, it'll get done same as it always is. If you'll just let me have my dinner in peace and quiet.
Yeah, I'm going to go at you.
Yes, he is.
He's like that with those nag.
And you know why. You've seen the sales figures.
We're still recovering from the strike. You said yourself we'd lose customers.
Well, it's your job to get them back.
And what's your job? I've often wondered.
Keeping you lot on your toes, and believe you me, it's shortening my life. Tyler. Oh, and get a fruit juice for what's in there, would you please?
Not so much as a what's it, and it's a gin and tonic.
If it's a gin and tonic, get it yourself.
It's a fruit juice.
Mr. Hill, how nice to see you. Tell me, is this a social call or have you come to take more photographs? I know. You've dropped in deliberately, haven't you, to catch us unawares?
As a matter of fact, Mrs. Walker,
Hello there.
Bet.
Fancy seeing you again.
Aye. Fancy.
Can I get you a drink?
Well, I've not really got the time. I just popped in to give you these. It's just 1 or 2 proofs I thought you might like to have a look at.
Really? Oh, well, show us then. Let's see how gorgeous we all look.
Not the whole lot. It's just 1 or 2. I thought you might like to... I've got a price list here somewhere.
You're a sly one, Norman Hill. How about that, then? Don't you think I look photogenic, Mrs. Walker?
I dare say you have something. A lot of her, isn't there?
Luke. There's one here of you, Mrs. Walker.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. It's true what they say, isn't it? The camera doesn't lie.
Hey, Betty. There's one of you and all. It's not bad either, kid.
Oh, I don't know.
Let's have a look.
I do hand it to you, Mr. Hill. You have caught my personality exactly. As I'm sure the brewery will agree when they come to choose the cover photo.
Hello? Oh, hello, Gran. Yeah, everything's fine. Well, he isn't in just now, but Uncle Albert is. But he's just getting the dinner ready. Yeah, we've been up on the allotment all morning. A letter? Well, it must be my exam results. Yeah, of course, open it. Well, how many did I get? A pass as a C or above. What? You're joking? Well, what about metalwork? Well, thank God for that, but is that it? Yeah, I'll tell him. Yes, I'll have to, won't I? Okay. Bye.
I had a word with Andy Bingham. He said he's prepared to drop out tonight if you want a game.
He's a good lad, Andy Bingham. His dad were on ground staff at City.
Yeah, well, don't let that put you off. This is just a little friendly game between the youth club and the boys' brigade. None of them are in Steve McQueen's class.
Gordon.
What?
You mean Gordon McQueen? Steve McQueen's an actor.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, what do you think? I said I'd tell Andy this afternoon.
Fine.
Well, you don't sound very enthusiastic. There's nothing to worry about, Pete. It's just a little five-a-side on the red rag. You know, what do you say?
Well, I haven't got any boots.
Well, that's no problem. Borrow some off a boy in the club. You're very quiet, Peter.
Well, I'm eating, aren't I?
Yeah, but you're not, though, are you?
Hey?
You're just picking at it.
Not wrong with my cooking, I hope.
No, it's fine, Uncle Albert. I'm just not really all that hungry. I mean, we did have those sandwiches this morning.
Yeah, of course we did. Your gran didn't say out to upset you, did she?
No, of course she didn't.
Oh, she phoned, did she? Nobody said.
A little while since she spoke to Peter.
Oh, did she want anything in particular?
No, just to see if everything was all right.
And is it?
Yeah, I keep saying it is.
What have we got here, Beth?
Oh, it's addressed to you, Mrs. Walker. A girl from brewery just brought it.
Whatever can it be?
I don't know, but it's got a sort of magazine-y feel to it.
Oh, they've come out that Mr. Cresswell phoned earlier on. I meant to tell you, but it just slipped my mind.
Accidentally on purpose, I bet.
They're of no interest to me, are they?
Aren't you going to open it, Mrs. Walker?
Do you know, I daren't. I'm far too excited. After all, the first house magazine issued by Newton and Ridley with, well, whoever on the cover.
Oh, come on, Mrs. Walker. We're all dying to know.
Yeah, we're in suspenders.
Very well. Here we go, then. The moment of truth.
Which one is it? Don't tell me it's the one of me, with what's a place like this doing inside a nice girl like you expression.
I don't know why they bothered. I really don't.
Just wait while I get my hands on Norman Hill. I give him at least 2 hours of my life. Let's have a look. Oh, would you credit it?
Well, who the heck is it?
It's little me.
Well.
Hey, and I'm on it, no.
Yeah, hey, don't we make a handsome couple?
I hope all your rotten rabbits die. No, I don't, Betty. It's smashing, kid. It's really
Yeah,
smashing.
it is. Here, look at that.
Shut up, you'll have me blushing. Exactly.
Right, isn't it?
It's a telephone number. Weatherfield 8825.
8825. And the message?
Ask Elsie Tanner if I can pop round for a quick cuppa.
Say again? Pop round for a quick,
You heard.
Just checking. Stand by.
Oh,
Take that, will you? It's probably a fella for one of you two. Or Mike Baldwin pestering me again, which wouldn't surprise me in the least.
8825. Yeah? Hang on. There's a woman on the phone says, can Ron Mather drop round for a cuppa?
You?
What's this then, Elsie?
Oh, tell her it's the wrong number.
You did say Elsie Tanner, didn't you? Yeah. A taxi driver. Hang on. She says...
It's all right. Terry can come round.
But who's...
Never mind. Just Terry can come round, that's all.
Yeah, that's all right, yeah. Bye. Ron Mather.
A taxi driver?
And we better get this table cleared before he arrives, hadn't we?
Wants to make a good impression.
Of course she does, for Ron Mather.
Taxi driver.
It's just that I don't want the place looking a tip, that's all. I'm not the Ogdens. And you needn't look at me in that tone of face. It's not what you think.
How'd you look with a tone of face?
Look, he's just a cab driver that brought me home last night late, so I asked him in for a cup of tea, OK?
You know, there's a joke starts like that, but it's a commercial traveller.
Are we going to clear this table, or are we not?
What's he like, Elsie?
Well, stick around and you'll find out.
How come we haven't heard about him before now? It sounds dead sus to me.
There's nothing dead sus about it, and the reason you haven't heard about it is because there's nothing to hear. Now, will you leave me be?
I'll go.
Doesn't hang about, does he?
This can't be him already. I'll put the kettle on, will you, Chuck, and clear this table.
I still say it sounds sus.
Well, where were you? On the doorstep?
Near enough. I just thought it better to get myself announced first.
Daft thing. Why didn't you just knock?
I didn't know he might be here, did you, Ron?
No, I didn't, did I? What a pleasant surprise.
I bet you say that to all the girls.
Right.
This is Gail and this is Susie, my lodgers, the bane of an otherwise peaceful existence.
Oh, go on, Elsie, you lovers, you know you do.
Oh, yeah, when you're asleep. Put that kettle on, will you, Chuck? Sit yourself down, I'll make a brew.
It's not too much trouble.
No, of course it's not.
Of course it's not.
Just like Flanagan and Allen.
Pinky and Perky.
Hello, Norman.
Well, if it isn't David Bailey himself. You in on this round, eh?
No, I won't, thanks. Is Bet anywhere around?
Just walked past her. Bet? You want it?
Yes.
Can I have a word in private?
No.
I've got a couple of complimentary tickets for the Gatsby, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I thought that we might, after.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about the magazine.
Leave it to me, you said. I'll use my influence, you said.
Did try, honest. I've done some lovely enlargements of the ones I took of you. I could let you have them real cheap.
You know what you can do, Norman? Go and walk in the canal. And keep walking till your hat starts to float.
She can't half be cutting the times, Bet, can't she?
It's a pity, really.
Why?
I was going to send them up to Titbits. I'm sure they'd have used them. I'll not bother now.
And shouldn't we tell Bet?
No, serves her flipping well right.
I'm sorry about this, Ron, but it has to be done.
What you'd call a pressing necessity, huh?
Oh.
Listen, I'll best be off. If I make it short and sweet, I just might be invited again.
You can have another cup of tea if you like.
You sure?
Well, why not? You're your own boss. You might as well enjoy it, girl.
Is it your taxi then?
Yep, bought and paid for.
Well, what about what's her name, the girl on the phone?
Oh, that was Lisa. She just runs the radio office.
Oh, that must be the life, working for yourself.
Now, look, I wouldn't change it. But when you work for yourself, you're working for the toughest boss there is. No fiddling and company or taking days off. It's all graft.
Could be Mike Baldwin talking.
Who's Mike Baldwin?
Oh, don't mention his name. I've had him up to here today.
And me. Sugar.
No, thanks.
Must be a laugh, though, never knowing who you're going to get in taxi next.
Well, you certainly pick up some funny people, that's for sure.
You picked up Elsie, didn't you?
Just you watch it.
But what about famous people? Film stars and that?
Rod Stewart one night?
You never.
Did he talk to you?
Of course he did. He was all right.
What, a proper conversation, or just to the airport or something like
let
that?
the poor man enjoy his tea, will you?
But Rod Stewart. Hey, I wouldn't mind being a taxi driver. Do you reckon me chances?
There's nothing to stop you.
Except that she can't drive a car and she hasn't got a taxi.
Little things like that.
Anyway, it's not all glamour. It's mostly people with a lot of luggage and the odd drunk who decides to get into your cab before he decides to be sick.
It can't do much for your social life, though, can it?
He's certainly working all hours.
Or your home life. Let's face it, must play hell with a marriage.
Hi, well, there we are. Size 7. There's one of these studs missing, but we can sort that out when we get down there. Well, if you want to try them on.
Do I have to play?
Well, I thought you wanted to.
Not really.
Well, I mean, Andy Bingham's dropped out especially to give you a game.
I just don't feel like playing football.
Oh, well, never mind. Perhaps you will when we get down there, when we break through the inertia barrier, eh? Come on, then, try them on.
Look, Dad, I don't want to play, OK?
Now, look, Peter. I asked you at lunchtime if you wanted to play, and you said yes. You can't just suddenly turn round.
I didn't say yes. I didn't say anything. It was you.
What's wrong, Peter?
Nothing's wrong.
Well, something obviously is. Why don't you tell me?
Nothing's wrong. I just don't feel like playing football.
Oh, now you're being stubborn.
I'm not being stubborn. Why don't you just leave me alone, eh?
Because a lot of people have gone to a lot of trouble making arrangements for you.
I didn't ask anybody to
No, but
make
you knew
any
they're being made,
arrangements.
didn't you?
No, I'm going out.
Peter?
Stupid game of football and I get the 3rd degree.
You know that all wrong, didn't you?
Oh, no, that's all I need.
Look, something's happened to upset the lad.
Yes, well, I would have thought that much was obvious.
Well, it must have been pretty obvious before you started going on at him. Having it something to do with this Jenny.
Jenny? Who's Jenny?
Well, yeah, you see. If you only took an interest in that lad of yours, you might know about these things.
Yeah, well, that's hardly fair, is it, Uncle Albert? I don't have the time to sit about with him like you do.
Always been your trouble, had it? Not having time.
Anyway, if it was just his girlfriend, I feel sure he would have told me.
Leave it to me. I'll have a word with him when he comes back. There's not much he won't tell me.
No, don't do that. If there's something wrong, he can tell me. But whether he does or he doesn't, he's my son. It's up to me to get to the bottom of it.
And Coronation Street is back on Monday at the same time. But in case you missed any of the excitement this week, don't forget the Coronation Street Omnibus on Sunday at 5. Next tonight, we join Scylla and Blind Date.